in your city, what's going on in your state, so that we can utilize this as a platform where we are communicating effectively with each other and providing resources. So thank you for that. Go ahead, Sister Tawanda.
Yeah, so in regards to my King brother Tyrone West, basically on July the 18th, 2013, my brother was brutally assassinated right here in the city. So when you hear about the uprise with Freddie Gray, we were long out there. May he rest in peace, and may his family truly, truly get accountability one day, and that's having those killer cops in cell blocks. But nevertheless, in regards to my family, had they would have taken necessary actions in regards to my brother being brutally murdered, maybe the cops that murdered Freddie Gray would have had, thought about it, wait a minute, they just hand down a healthy sentence to these killer cops that murdered an unarmed man for no reason, then, maybe Freddie Gray life would have, not been snatched away the same way fashion that my brother was. But nevertheless, on July the 18th, 2013, I will never, ever forget that day. That is a horrible day that literally changed my life forever. Literally, I started off, it was a beautiful morning. It was always a beautiful morning when my brother would actually call me and wake me up just to be like, hey, sis, good morning, you up? You ready for work? And I'm like, yeah, brother. And what I did was, at the time, I had just purchased a new green Mercedes-Benz, and I thought that me allowing my brother to drive my car to and from work, because he had a job as well, I thought that would be like a safe haven for him. But what I thought would be a safe haven ultimately got my brother murdered by some stinking maniac murderers. But anyway, that morning started off great. My brother called me. And even in the summer, like you introduced me, I am a teacher. I teach all year long, including summer camp, pre-kindergarten teacher, kindergarten teacher type of thing. And so I was, teaching at summer camp or whatever. Even though schools were closed, we still had summer camp or whatnot. But nevertheless, my brother called me that morning, and he like, hey, sis, you still coming to get me? I'm like, yeah. So what I would do was I would literally leave my house and go and pick my brother up, take him, come pick him up, and I would switch seats. As soon as he come out of his house, I would go into the passenger side, and then he would literally drop my kids off to daycare and then take me on to work, and then he would take himself to work, and literally he would pick my kids up from daycare and whatnot, or camp. At the time they were in camp, he took them to summer camp. He went to work, so he was doing all of this stuff, and then he literally got off of work literally around 3 o'clock in the evening, but I didn't get off until 5:30. Long story short, he literally would always be outside my job before 5:30, because he said he's a brother that was so serious that he said, if you were on time for your job, you are late. He said always allow yourself to be an extra, if not a whole hour to a half an hour earlier, because you never know, things might happen. So, and that's the motto he lived by. So he would always show up at my job 4:45, even though I got off at 5:30. He would be outside. My car would pull up, and the students would see him through the window of my classroom, be like, your brother's out there, and that would make joy. But and I'll never forget that interesting day, horrible day. It turned to a nightmare. I actually had a police officer in my class from that same district, my co-teacher husband. And by the way, he's an immaculate man. He's even though he's an officer, he was also into the church and things like that. So to actually have an officer friendly, I would call, inside of my classroom, telling the kids how to have a safe summer, giving me a dare bear type of thing, was very exciting to me. And I'll never forget, the engagement was really great, and I'll never forget when I was leaving out my job, I had the Dare Bear teddy bear with me in my arms because they gave it to me to keep for my students. And I had a photo of me and the officer and the kids in the classroom, and I'll never forget taking it into my car. My brother said, what's that bear, sis? And I said, yeah. I said, we just had I would say officer friendly in my classroom. He's like, wow, that's awesome. He said, Dad, that still exists? He said, that's cool. I ain't know officer friendly still exists in the classroom. He said, that's real cool. And I showed him a picture. And then from that moment, that sparked a conversation between my brother and I, because literally that Saturday, my brother got murdered on that Thursday, but that Saturday, that horrible verdict of Trayvon Martin that sparked off, I guess, the Black Lives Matter movement, but that verdict had came in, and that verdict had said that Trayvon's killer was found not guilty. So literally, I was like, tore up. My brother was tore up when we found out about the news, but that sparked that conversation up. He said, yes, sis. He said, how you still feeling about what happened on Saturday about the George Zimmerman situation? I said, yeah. I said, brother, I'm still, like horrified about that and whatnot. And he's like, yeah. He said, but you know what, sis? We got to worry about all these George Zimmermans in our communities, in our corners that's taking over, doing things to us. That's what we need to worry about. Even though that's horrible what happened to that poor young king, Trayvon, we got to worry about the George Zimmermans here in our own community. And I'm in my mind like, brother, that's profound. That's really deep. Can you elaborate? But at that moment, he got a call, and that call of him doing a good deed actually got his life took. A young lady was in need of a ride. He didn't barely knew this young lady. He knew her maybe more than a couple weeks. He had met her, and I'll never forget, he used to always joke and laugh about, he was like, sis, I can't believe you let me drive your Mercedes-Benz. It feels so good. He said, it's a woman magnet. So many women be on me, blah, 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 yada, and I'm just laughing at him because that's my big brother, and we would joke with each other like that. But long story short, that day after he got that phone call, because me and him was at a local restaurant getting dinner, because I'm like, hey, brother, it's too hot to cook tonight. He was like, well, I'll treat us to something to eat. So he took us to like a little local restaurant, and we began to get our dinner, and that's when the phone call came in, his cell phone. There was a young lady. She said, that she had called the cab, nobody came for her and whatnot. Could he actually come pick her up and take her to her mom's house or whatever? So he asked me, he's like, sis, you mind if I don't mean to be no nuisance, you mind if I borrow your car and go get this young lady? So at my mind, I'm like, as long as you pick up your niece somewhere in the process tonight and I ain't got to go back out the house tonight to get her, I'm fine. You can just go get her, pick your niece up, you keep the car in the morning, you can come get me. He's like, all right, cool. So we were laughing and joking about that. Me locking eyes for my brother for the last time. I'll never forget. I'm putting my key in the door as he ready to pull off. I'm like, brother, why are you looking at me like that? And not knowing that this was the last time I was going to ever lock eyes with my brother, ever again. He's like, I'm just waiting for you to get in the house so I can go, because he was a real gentleman. He was not going to pull off till he made sure I got in the house safely. So as I opened up the door, I'm like, all right. I said, well, don't forget your niece. Just call me when you get a chance. He said, I sure will. I'm going to call you after I drop the young lady off, and you can tell me what time I'm picking up my niece tonight. I'm like, all right, cool. Literally, I lied to you not, my brother. Oh, my goodness. This is 6:30 now. At exactly 7 o'clock, I'm in my house eating the dinner that me and him just grabbed. I'm doing lesson plans, planning activities for my kids at school for camp the next day. Because the next day we're supposed to have a clown come in, so I'm creating like fun activities of, making like popcorns and, just things that you would do related to a circus, knowing that a clown was going to come to my classroom the next day. But literally, when I say so much of pain went through my body, it felt like, oh, my God, if I could describe it, I never had a stroke, never, God forbid, don't want to feel like that, but I actually thought I was experiencing a stroke because I felt so much pain in my back and my neck, oh, my God, to the point I fell off my bed, and the pain lasted maybe 10 to 15 minutes. I remember crying and screaming like, oh, my goodness, like, wow, do I have all this pain in my body? And I remember my fiance walked in the room, and he said, Tawanda, are you okay? And I was like, no. I was like, I don't know what's wrong with me. I said, something bad, like, oh, my God, my body is hurting so bad. I don't know. He was like, and I was like, I can't use my car now because my brother I might got to get to the hospital. Then after that, the pain just stopped, and I felt crazy as if my worlds were changing just like that. As I was like, like you ever see the movie Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz when the wind was like swirling and she was going in the storm. I felt like that. I felt like maybe like my whole world was shifting and twisting. And then the first thought I thought was like, oh, snap, let me call Tyrone. So instantly, it was a painful, panicky, please let him answer the phone type of thing. And I called him over 200 times, kept ringing his phone. He would not pick up, to the point that I was so, like, mind blown and gone, to the point my fiance was like, look, I'm going to go down your brother's house. He's like, you panicking. You're going to really make yourself sick. You're going to be in the hospital. Let me go down there. I said, look, if you don't see that green Mercedes-Benz outside of his house, please just call me. He's like, he's probably down there asleep. I said, no, he's not going to never not answer the phone. And me and him always believed in strong communication. He said, but his phone could be dead. Anything could be happening. Calm down or what. I'm like, all right, cool. So I'm waiting for him to get down there. He go down to his house, and literally what seemed to be like 20 to 30 minutes seemed like it was hours. I'm standing there like, oh, my goodness, shaking, rocking, study calling him. I'm study calling around my family like, have y'all heard from Tyrone? They're like, no, what's going on? I'm like, I think something bad happened to him. You know, they was like, why you say that? So the instant when I called my aunt, who we always call like our mom, who helped raise us, played a big deal in my brother in my life, Aunt Diane, I'm on the phone with her. She's like, well, let me, she's like, oh, my God, don't scare me like that. She said, well, let me call around a few hospitals. You think he might have gotten a car accident? I said, I don't know, but God is telling me something bad happened. And I started telling her I had all this pain in my body, then it stopped. She said, well, look, don't upset me. She said, let me call around. So she hung up with me, calling around. Then meanwhile, my fiance calls me back. He's like down at my brother's house, and he sounds sad and disappointed, like, what's up? You know, is he there? Everything good? He was like, no, your car not out. I was like, please hurry up back up here. Please, I need you now. I just started screaming. He was like, all right, I'm on my way. So literally now he gets back to me. I want to say now the time is maybe 9 o'clock-ish, 9:15, something along those lines. He get back. I'm like, look, I need you to understand, I need to make a very important call. You might not going to agree with who I'm going to call. He was like, what? I said, I'm going to call my ex. He was like, oh, gosh. I was like, look, because this ain't about none of that. Because at the time, before my fiance, I used to date a city cop. So literally, something was like, call your ex because he knows your brother, he knows your car. Call him to see what the hell's going on, see maybe if he at work type of thing. So literally I called my ex. I got the phone. I'm being transparent. I got the phone on speaker so my fiance can hear what's going on, just being transparent. And I'm calling my ex or whatever. So I'm like, hey, you know, how you doing? He was like, all right. And he was like, how are you? I said, I'm worried like hell. He's like, why? I said, my brother's missing. He said, what you mean missing? I said, literally, he borrowed my car. He's not answering the phone. I'm sick. I'm scared that something bad happened to him. He's like, oh, wow. I said, are you at work? He said, yeah, I'm up at the district right now doing some paperwork. I said, oh, please. I said, God told me to call you. He said, oh, yeah. I said, look, I said, I don't know what I'm saying to you right now. I said, but did you not too long ago get a signal 13? He was like, yeah, maybe a half hour ago. I was like, oh, my God, please go check that out. That's my brother. He like, what? He was like, oh, you crazy. You going nuts. I was like, what do you mean I'm going nuts? He was like, a signal 13 doesn't have anything to do with a missing person. A signal 13 meaning the officers down, the officers in distress. I said, look, I don't know nothing about the cold talks, not interested in it. I said, I'm just acting off the word of God, what God is telling me, my instincts, my sick feelings, all that. I said, please, if you can, just go check that signal 13 out, please. He said, all right, well, if I can, I definitely will. So I hung up with him. Literally, 10 o'clock is here. I'll never forget, fiance walked in the room, turns my TV on, and I'm like, on the phone, I just called my aunt back, who, like I said, Aunt Diane, my mom type of thing. I'm like, hey, Mom, what's going on? She was like, did you hear from Tyrone yet? I said, no. I said, I'm calling you to ask you, literally, my fiance, I don't know if whatever type of way would you break down telling somebody that their loved one is gone and they never going to see them again. But he literally, I'm sorry, give me a minute. Because it's like I'm going back there, and I hate going back to that place because it's so heartbreaking. But nevertheless, he said You were right. I said, right about what? He said, they killed your brother. And I said, kill who? Like, I'm shaking. I'm like, what? I'm like, what are you talking about? And literally, he turned my TV on. I'm looking at my brother's body on a gurney. I'm hearing Fox 45.